nothing serious. He'll hurt some operation thing, but he'll get himself ready.
Oh, I understand.
Really in disguise.
Yeah, I think he just couldn't stay away. And we don't have minutes or financials. We'll call this February meeting to order. If everyone will rise, our invocation tonight will be Elder Donald Juniel, pastor of St. Paul Christian Church.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, as we gather here today in this place, Father, I pray that you would, all ears and heart will be open to you today. We thank you for allowing us to be in this place on today. And as we prepare to have this meeting, Father, we pray that you will come into this place on today. I pray that you will endow us with your spirit on today. And whatever that is said in this place on today, allow us to be able to come in agreement. And I pray that every spoken word be spoken with clarity and respect. And I pray that every decision that is made will reflect your will. Give us the ability to listen attentively to one another, and give us the give us the ability to be able to work in unity with each other, to be able to achieve a positive outcome. So we thank you for this opportunity to collaborate, and I pray blessings upon each and every one of us that is in this place on today. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Join me in the pledge, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Castleberry.
Here.
Steve.
Here.
Cooper.
Here.
Rennick. McCoy. Askew.
Here.
Winters.
Here.
Woody.
Here.
Mayor Young.
Here. Okay. Next on the agenda is approval of minutes, but we do not have the minutes tonight.
I apologize.
Donna has been under the weather.
When you came back to my computer being under the weather.
She came back and the computer was down.
As soon as it is repaired or revived, whatever they're gonna do to it, we'll get everything sent out.
Yes, we will get you the minutes, and next month we'll have the minutes from 2 meetings to approve. And the financials, we also do not have financials, and some of that was due to the same thing, but the accountants were needing some information. They also were having issues with getting into the system. They said they'd be glad to answer any questions. They will have that up to date to us next month, but they apologize for that.
Let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
As far as the financial report, so Ms. Donna, you have to send them information before they collaborate,
They
or
have access to everything we have access to.
they can just tap into it and with our system being faulty, they wasn't able. How long our system been down?
When I called them yesterday morning, they told me that my computer had been off since Thursday,
Last Thursday?
last Thursday. But I had gone home early. I had an allergic reaction and was out Thursday. So they thought that maybe it just got too much and shut itself in because it couldn't take another update or something. But they haven't been in to put eyes on it for me yet.
What's the hold up with them coming in? They said?
They only have a couple of people working on a regular basis, is my understanding. And when I talked to them yesterday, they said they'll get somebody out sometime this afternoon to pick it up. And it's still here.
So they pick it up and you'll still be,
I'll still be
we'll be
down.
down. We just got one IT person or company that we deal with.
We've got one IT company, yes, sir.
We need to do something about that.
We agree.
I'm just saying the city is, sound like the city is on hold for like a week.
I got a question. How much do we pay this company to do our financials?
The
A year.
accountants, now, they are on a month-to-month contract, so that can stop at any time. We're paying them $5,000 per month.
$5,000 a month?
Yes, sir.
Are we still paying Donna Stewart an extra fee to do that also?
Yes, sir.
So we're paying two people to do financials? When does that stop? When we used to have one treasurer that did everything,
Right.
but now we're paying two people.
The council put that into effect, so the council will need to take it out of effect.
The ordinance says until the treasurer is hired.
Till when?
Until the treasurer is hired.
Are we actively seeking a treasurer?
I haven't stopped looking yet.
So that could be indefinite?
No, it will not be indefinite.
I mean, I guess you see my concern. We were paying one treasurer and getting treasurer reports and stuff, and now we're paying how much a month and not getting a report?
Well, this is the first time we've not gotten a report, and it was kind of like a perfect storm with Donna being off sick and then the computer going down. That was beyond anybody's control.
There's no backups to it.
To
There's no backup plan if,
Well, our backup plan is to search for a treasurer.
okay.
Okay.
Let me ask you this, back to the computers, is it just your
Yes, it's
computer?
was just mine.
Yeah.
And then the accountants called and said that they couldn't remote in, and they lost their connection a couple of times.
What about the other young lady that worked with you?
His was up and running.
But she don't have the same format as far as financials that you have and y'all working together, she don't?
Hers isn't set up in the same format. Anything we would have printed, if we could have gotten close to what you normally get, it wouldn't have looked the same.
I thought she was, at one point, doing that or similar to it,
She was with me trying to learn everything, and then we got the accountants. And to be honest, they're getting paid to do it.
Yeah, but they need certain information from you and need to be able to tap in and can't, but, God dog.
Any information they get from me, they have access to.
Yeah.
They have remote access, and there is a different computer they remote in, but they were getting kicked out, and we don't know why they were getting kicked out, and they called our provider.
Well, look like if what's the young lady name that works with you?
Kayla,
Look like she would have the same, be able, you know, just say if you're not here and then you've been out sick, look like she'd be able to sit at her desk and pick up the slack and have the same software you got.
She has access to all of the financial stuff, but she doesn't have access to the clerk stuff. So she couldn't have helped with the minutes.
So they couldn't tap into her.
They don't tap into either one of ours. They have two dedicated computers set up in the office that they access. And
Oh,
it's got
okay.
a program on it.
I thought you said that they could remote in to yours.
They remote into those two computers, which has the same software. Whatever we update,
Right.
they can look in real time at what we put in.
Yeah.
Ms. Mayor, how much are we paying Ms. Stewart?
extra,
Extra.
500 a month.
Is that 600?
No, it's
500.
500 a week, I'm sorry.
500 a week.
On the signature.
Because we do have to have a treasurer by signature only.
So right now, we're paying $86,000 a year for a treasurer spot.
Yes.
Don't y'all think that's kind of
That's
expensive, $86,000?
Yes,
We're
sir.
paying a treasurer
that's more than what the mayor
$60,
makes.
$50.
That's more than what the mayor's salary is.
Yes, sir.
Well, I think that goes back to what we've been talking about, looking at salaries and stuff like that, and well, not necessarily salary caps, but you know, looking at financials and looking at what department heads make and stuff like that, and kind of get a hold on this kind of stuff, and you know.
This was all talked about, what was it, like September, October, when we did the contract?
hired him in September.
This was all talked about then, we all had the same arguments about it then, that two salaries versus one salary, and it was actually gonna be more expensive to do this way, but the council still voted to go this way.
But that was why it was put on month to month and not a
Yes.
yearly contract,
Yes.
so we could opt out.
Cause I made the same, appeal to everyone, that we're gonna be paying two people instead of paying one person, and it's got to be more expensive, and if they have someone here at, like, a meeting tonight, if they had to have a representative here, that's even an extra cost on top of that, so.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
just a huge number, $86,000 a year for a treasurer spot.
Mm-hmm.
So how are we actively searching for a treasurer? What are we doing? Are we, how would anybody know that we needed a treasurer and that they could apply? How aggressively are we searching for a treasurer?
We initially started advertising it in different locations and did not get a whole lot of response. And now anybody I run into that has experience, I ask them if they would be interested in applying.
Is that something we could put on the city's Facebook page or something like that, that you just keep plugging it? Sure. Trying to get it out there more?
Look like it should have been on there already. You know, whenever we got positions open and stuff, and I mean, it's bigger than just sticking it on the bulletin board, you know, and the website.
It was on the website for a while. It was.
It needs to stay on there until we get one.
We had a couple of applications turned in, that was it.
Yeah.
But we will put it back up. We will get aggressive with it again.
It's free to post one ad on Eldermark as well. Somebody could log in there and just say City of Camden searching for a treasurer. Here are the requirements, here's the salary. For more information, contact so and so.
Before I put the salary on that, the council's gonna have to decide what they wanna do. Do you want to keep the accountants and have like I think Michael discussed, a part-time treasurer, because by law we have to have a treasurer signature only? Or does the council want to get rid of the accountant and have a full treasurer again? That's gonna be the question.
I
I
think,
can advertise, but I have to know what to tell the respective.
I think that's a discussion on the back end that we need to have. We need to have a meeting and everything because, I mean, this accountant, you know, started out good and stuff. I don't know about nobody else, but I was getting mine kind of last minute, right before the meeting. You too? Yeah, and now,
Us too. Now, they said when they come on that reconciling the bank statements with the times of our meetings, although I told them this week, look, our meeting's the 11th. That's almost halfway through the month.
well, I mean, we done tried them. Sound like we need to drop
We
like a
can,
bad
What's
habit.
the salary of our treasurer?
Yeah, if it was a full-time position.
If it's a full-time, how much does the treasurer make?
What can
It
we do?
was 62.
No. Sixty-two, around 62 is what
But
it was.
Yep.
I think what Tom is referring to, and we, like I said, we talked about this sometime around the September time frame. I'd have to pull my notes out to be sure, was when we were talking about this, that, the couple of people that had put their name in the hat, for lack of a better term, they really didn't fit the qualifications that we have set out there for this. So really the pay, if we hire a treasurer in name only that can just sign and, you know, do a little stuff like that, naturally the salary for that is gonna have to be less than what if we hire a treasurer that can come in and do everything.
Right.
So, you know, getting back to what I think Tom was leaning toward,
Which one do you want?
you can't put the salary out there till we decide which one that we're gonna get. And if we decide we're gonna get a full-blown treasurer and the salary's gonna be X, then we've gotta have somebody that fits the qualifications in order for us to do that. And so far, the ones that have shown interest in it did not have that type of qualification.
And unlike the department heads, the council is the one that approves the treasurer.
Yes.
What would those qualifications need to be for a full-fledged treasurer that can do it all and get rid of the accounting people?
It's outlined in the ordinance that a previous council had
Yeah.
passed.
we can pull that and get it to everybody.
Send that out.
Okay, we will send that out to you. Okay, Donna, if we move on to audience participation.
One more
Oh.
question.
Mm-hmm.
As far as finance and stuff, is our city workers getting paid?
Yes,
With the system being down,
yes,
all that's copacetic? Okay, all right.
yeah. Nobody's missed a paycheck.
Move on.
Okay, audience participation.
Eric Gunter?
Eric Gunter, Chaffee Creek. I just have a question on, I was at the meeting a few months ago, last year sometime, and I don't know the name of the place, the model, the old backpack, where they doing those cross ties.
Yeah.
There's a sign up there, you know, about when the gate is supposed to be open and closed, which I don't know if that's supposed to change or they just do it whenever they want, but that gate is closed before 7 o'clock when the sign says. So I'm just curious about that.
Okay, do you know what time it's been closed?
Yes, well, I don't know what time it's being closed, but I took a picture, it's timestamp of it closed. This was February 7th, it was 6:45 and it was closed, 8 a.m.
Okay,
So I was just curious about that. Does that time still hold, or you know?
yes, sir, it's supposed to, so we will check into that. We was unaware of it.
And just so you, well, there it is, closed 7 o'clock. There's the timestamp.
barricade that road off when
Morning.
when the road's closed? Is it barricaded off?
Yes,
It
you
is
can't
very-
get through from South Street to, let's say, Mount Heber
Yeah.
Church.
Yeah.
That's, you can't get through there.
Okay.
They have both sides of, well, no, I apologize. They have it blocked off by Mount Heber. So if you was to go in through South Street and get there, then you gotta turn around and go all the way back out. So it's just one stop sign, and it's on the Mount Heber side. But it's signs on both sides.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, if you don't mind, come back up for a second. Totally different subject. Are you and your wife still able to do your youth stuff that you've been doing? And if so, have you been able to find a facility that y'all can use to put all your supplies that you donate and give out to these children?
No, we haven't. But yes, we still are. We're doing the car show to get the proceeds for that goes toward our backpacks and school supplies and the scholarships.
Does anybody with the city know if they have any building, any facility that's not being used, that's old, that we can see about letting them use for a charity? We do a lot of stuff for kids that don't get anything otherwise.
We just have to look into that, and he would need to give us, recommendations of what he was
Okay,
looking
well,
for.
with that being said, thank you for bringing that up. Do my minutes start over or? Okay, I know it's been over a year ago, the RX Shattuck thing, when the whole baseball and softball thing came up, it was like, we'll figure out something to do with the kids later. So this is a year later, and I'm still curious about that.
If there's anything we can do as a city to help, just let us know.
Yeah. Can I address the issue of the church, the street? Is it possible for me to talk about?
Let's do that at the end of other business.
Thank you. I got a question pertaining to that. What's the hours? 7 to 5?
7 to 5.
Okay. Thank you.
If you don't mind if I approach.
No, I'm good. I'll look at it.
I was gonna show you the sign.
I'll look at it later.
Okay.
Thank you. I just need to know the time.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Larry Mitchell?
Good afternoon, Mayor, Aldermen. I have two issues. The first one is on the water bill. I hope someone here from the water can help me out with this, because every time I come to you guys, I don't get no answer. I
We'll
left
be
here.
here next month, Mr. Mitchell.
Okay, I
What's
left
your
here December.
address?
Ma'am?
Your address?
649 Magnolia Road. I left here December the 30th. I came back January the 15th of this year. I turned my water off at the city. Now, I know I'm gonna have to pay the regular price, what they have to pay, but my bill is still $45, what I normally pay every month. So can we get that squared away so if I leave, I just pay the normal bill instead of paying $45 that I've been paying the whole time, and I wasn't even here to use any water?
I think that may be the minimum, but I'd have to check with them to confirm that.
Okay. And then my second one, I've been having a lot of young kids come and ask me questions about coming to work for the city. They have heard all kind of bad information, and this information is saying they heard that some people can come and get hurt on the job or have a heart attack or something like that, and then they'll be fired. I need, if anyone could provide me some information that I can give these kids to say, if you get a job with the city, you have a stroke or heart attack, that you can't be fired. What the orders cover that? Do you have to have, like if I was working for the city, I had a heart attack. How long am I allowed to be off from the city before I be fired or be offered my job back?
Part of it's gonna depend on what the doctor's release says.
So if the doctor say I'm still under doctor's care, could the city fire me?
You have FMLA coverage for,
I'm just saying, they asking me questions, I just want to know what I can get back to them. I'm not working, I'm tired, I'm sorry, I'm retarded.
we offer FMLA
Okay,
and that covers someone for 12 weeks.
only 12 weeks?
Their job is protected.
Okay,
12
so
weeks.
what happened after the 12 weeks? If say, you know, a stroke or something like that, that's normally you be out for 6 or 7 months.
Once they're gone for those 12 weeks, we don't have to hold the job anymore. We can bring them back when they are able to come back to work,
Okay,
but we can go ahead and put somebody in to work that position.
okay. Now, if they
But
come back, would
but
they
once
lose?
they're cleared to come back to work, they may not get to come back in the same spot they were, but if they were a good employee, we want them back at work.
Okay, do they lose their salary if they do that?
Once their vacation and sick time is used up, the city doesn't pay them anymore, just covers their insurance for that 12 weeks.
Okay, now, do you have anything that you can give me or tell me where I can go print it so I can show these kids?
We can get you a personnel manual.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank
Mayor.
you. That's it? Okay, we will move on to the mayor's report. And this evening, I give the State of the City address. So this evening, I have the great honor of sharing with you the state of our great city. But what makes it great? What makes Camden, Camden? Well, it's our people. And it's my firm belief that you will not find better people than the people of Camden, Arkansas. The people of Camden are hard-working, honorable men and women, working day in and day out to provide for their families, to look out for their neighbors, and to live a life that is honorable before God. I don't care where you go in our city, you'll always encounter hard-working, honorable people who want nothing more than for the city of Camden to put them first. Our people want nothing more than for our city government to work as hard as they do. And it is my chief responsibility to ensure that the departments of the city of Camden do just that. Work extremely hard every single day to put our people first. Tonight I want to start off by recognizing the men and women, boys and girls that make Camden so great. We want to take this moment to remind us all, including myself, why we're here. It's because the fine people of Camden entrusted us to work hard for them and to put them first and above ourselves. Our city government has the responsibility to work hard to earn every dollar that the people entrust us with. And tonight I'm pleased to report with sincere conviction that the city of Camden worked very hard during 2024 to earn the funding and the trust that the people placed in us. I cannot begin to count the number of times people stopped me and said, "Mayor, thank you for what you and your people are doing." Whether it's praising our Public Works Department for keeping their street clean and their garbage picked up on schedule, or helping homeowners with issues with drainage, our thankfulness for our Code Enforcement Department for being so helpful and willing to go the extra mile to help our businesses flourish, or our citizens thanking the amazing Camden Police Department for their constant presence and rapid response to their neighborhood, our remarkable fire department for their aid to our citizens in times of crisis. These are the things I hear all the time from our people. Mayor, please say a special thanks to our police, fire, public works, and code enforcement team for helping me. The heartfelt reports from our citizens of our city, helping them is music to my ears. It means we're doing something right. Are we perfect? No. No, we're not. There's only been one perfect person to walk the earth. No, we're not perfect, but we certainly try and should hold ourselves to the highest standards possible as we start each day with the firm conviction that we work for the people of Camden, not the other way around. So what did our amazing teams do during 2024 exactly? Well, let me share some of the major highlights with you. At our landfill, we installed a new lift station and cleared the wastewater line that was approximately a mile long. This was thanks to a joint effort between the Camden Water Department and our Public Works Department. We also installed new scales at the landfill, and trust me, we want functioning, highly efficient landfill, and thankfully, due to the efforts of some amazingly hard-working city employees and contractors, we now have one. Yes, we still have more to do out there, and we are currently working to renovate the restroom facilities and will in the near future move to other projects that need attention. These major issues that we corrected had been plaguing our city all the way back to the Clay Baker administration, but not anymore. We're getting things done. We've also implemented a system where our Public Works team members are on rotation throughout different parts of the city in the early morning hours when they come on while it's still dark to monitor streetlight outages. Another more visible highlight was the addition of 4 large welcome signs strategically placed at our city's main points of entry. These unified welcome signs replaced old, decaying, non-standardized signage with more permanent and robust signs worthy of our great city. When I ran for this office, I promised to tear down the old and bring in the new, and I meant what I said. A beautiful city on a hill deserves signage worthy of how great Camden is. I've heard so much positive feedback that we now have these signs offering a warm welcome to our visitors and a warm welcome home to our citizens. I sat across from a couple at a local restaurant just a couple of weeks ago while they shared with me that they are relocating to Camden from a large city to our south. They told me they thought Camden was beautiful and that the welcome signs to our city was so impressive. These signs are the result of a large-scale cooperative effort by local industry, banks, and our A&P Commission. This is proof positive that when it comes to bringing Camden up a notch, our people will rally together because we're getting things done. Another area of strength we saw in 2024 is the use of our city parks increased through outdoor recreation. People more than ever was showing up in our parks to play and have fun where we live. Families, young adults, seniors, and everyone in between is out enjoying the parks and public spaces of the city of Camden, and I couldn't be more thrilled. Just recently I attended one of the evening pickleball games, and it was exciting to see so many people having the time of their lives. I especially love to see both teenagers and senior citizens playing together on the courts. We've opened 3 pickleball courts, and they see upwards to 40 to 50 players enjoying Camden together. I'm so pleased to report that we've experienced a marked increase in growth for our youth sports at the Camden Sportsplex, which is another one of our flagship city parks. But that's not all. We've seen more adult co-ed softball teams playing in not just one, but both Ivor Clark Park and Carnes Park. We was pleased this last year to have Jasmine Moore head up a kickball league playing at Ivor Clark Park. People all across Camden are coming out to various parks throughout the city to play where they live. And especially dear to my heart, we pursued and won an outdoor fun grant. If y'all hadn't been to Carnes Park, go look at it. It's beautiful. We built an all-inclusive playground in Camden's largest park, right in the heart of our city. And as soon as the renovations of the restroom are complete, we will announce a special ribbon cutting to celebrate that park. And I want everybody to come out and see that. This playground will host countless children from all backgrounds for decades to come. This playground will be a park for all children, including those with disabilities. I know this is something that we can all get behind. thank you to Arkansas Parks, Heritage and Tourism and our own A&P Commission for making this dream a reality. I can't wait to celebrate this playground very soon. But as great as that is, we're not satisfied and we're not done yet. We're currently working to develop a 5-year plan for our parks, and another major item that everyone will love is a 5-year plan for our streets. Simply put, we're going to get things done. We also brought Camden further into the digital age with a major overhaul of our city website, explorecamden.com, and we're still updating it. But if you haven't visited it, I encourage you to go do so soon. We're also proud to have released our first ever app for iPhone and Android devices. So for the first time ever, our citizens can download our app and receive immediate notifications of street closures, flooding, trees down, or other emergencies and important information. This app is free of charge and available right now. These two things alone give the city of Camden a competitive edge in our region. Additionally, our code enforcement department has not only been hard at work on helping our city businesses to navigate the landscape of safety codes, ensuring public safety, while also ensuring we do not present a deterrent to investment. They've also worked hard and been more aggressive on items such as inoperable vehicles and nuisance properties. They, along with our Public Works Department, have a clear mission and directive directly from me. Get our neighborhoods cleaned up and ensure they stay that way, period. When it comes to keeping Camden safe and clean, we're going to get things done. Lastly, on the progress front, 2024 saw absolutely remarkable growth and investment right here in our own backyard. From major expansion and hiring by the largest employers of our citizens, our defense and aerospace companies, to the arrival of development firms looking to invest in Camden's workforce housing, lodging, and retail offerings. To finally, the overwhelming amount of investment from the true backbone of our community, our small businesses. 2024 was a banner year for economic growth and prosperity in Camden. We saw the opening of Pinnacle Hearing and First Choice Clinic, revitalizing empty buildings along California Avenue, to our very own landmark bowling alley, Camden Lanes, which is reopening tomorrow on the southern end of California Avenue. We've added more food choices with the Corner Stop, Beards and Buns, and Hachimi food truck, just to name a few. That's not an all-inclusive list, just giving you a few examples there. Next week we'll see the reopening of YF Queen City, which is an upscale consignment shop in their new location. And in months to come, we'll see Huddle House and Restore It open their doors to the people of Camden as well. On the large scale, we're constantly working economic development opportunities through our Economic Development Apparatus, OPED. On a near consistent basis, there's hardly a week that goes by that we're not responding to inquiries and prospects from industry and businesses, both large and small. To win in the arena of economic development, we must remain competitive and aggressive in our recruitment of investment. I've stated repeatedly that I'm 100% pro-business, 100% pro-growth, and 100% pro-Camden with every fiber of my being. We will do whatever it takes to win investment into Camden. And let me tell you, I'm pleased to inform you that Camden is indeed winning on the economic development front. More jobs and more investment is being announced all the time because investors, both large and small, are seeing the pro-business, pro-growth environment of the city of Camden. At the same time, we do not forget that there's ones in our city that are going through a difficult time. And our great citizens have always been so compassionate and helpful when there is a need. We saw the opening of Feed My Sheep Soup Kitchen, which was a dream of Miss Lachelle Hicks. The Center of Healing Hearts and Spirits offices with Pastor Jeffrey Franklin. And later this month, we'll also see the opening of the Joyful Closet inside First Baptist Church, which will allow citizens in need to shop for coats, clothing, and other items for free. These, along with already existing programs such as our local food pantries, Sue's Table, The Hub, and many others, show how our great citizens of Camden are already, always ready to help our neighbors in their time of need. As I close this evening, I encourage everyone to see the good that is happening all around us. No, things are not perfect, far from it, but when we choose to see progress, when we choose to acknowledge the investment that's being made into Camden, when we choose to break away from the negativity and strife that is so common these days, we see a lot of good. We see neighbors helping neighbors. We see families flourishing. We see our churches growing. We see our children thriving. And we see the blessings of God showered upon us. Does Camden still face challenges? Absolutely. Just as every community does. We have our fair share to face as well. Do we still have a lot of room for improvement? Yes. Are there issues that require a lot of hard work and perseverance to overcome? You bet. But here's the thing. Don't count Camden out. Don't think for a minute that just because we face hardship that we do not have a bright future. Because let me tell you something that I've learned about the people of Camden in my time as mayor. The people of Camden are not quitters. They are not easily defeated. Nor are they afraid of hard work. Not at all. The people of Camden are overcomers. They are kind. They know how to pull together. And most of all, they know how to win. The future of Camden is bright. The future of Camden is great. And I'll tell you why. Camden's future is great because our people are great. Thank you, and may God continue to keep his hand upon the city of Camden. Now we'll move to old business. Ordinance.
Before we start, can I ask you a question real quick? At the last meeting, I asked about cameras in the courtroom, and I had
Yes, and we
asked-
are checking on those. We've checked with a couple of companies, and we're trying to see if we can get a 30-day free trial to make sure that it will meet.
Is there
what-
somebody local we could hire that could set some cameras up and put this on YouTube?
We're talking to them. Yeah.
You think soon? Because that's the number one question everybody keeps asking all the time that they can't get
Yes,
out.
sir, I do.
And tonight's because of the weather, is a prime example why I think that people ought to be able to watch exactly what's going on.
Right. And we are working on it.
Okay.
Okay. Old business ordinance number 125, and who will introduce this ordinance?
Ordinance number 125, an ordinance amending chapter 10, fire prevention and protection, article 1, and amending chapter 6, buildings and building regulations, article 1 of the code of ordinance of the city of Camden.
This is the second reading of this ordinance. Tom, has everything been done in case they want to suspend the rules? Okay. We'll have the third reading then next month. New business, ordinance number 225. Who will introduce this ordinance?
I will.
Ordinance number 225, an ordinance assessing a lien on certain property located at 213 Wood Street.
Take a motion to approve. I made the motion, you just need to second.
Second.
Is this for discussion or to suspend the rules?
This is an ordinance, so
I'd like to make the motion to suspend the rules and put it up for third and final reading. This is in my ward. I've looked at this property, it needs to be taken care of.
okay. So we have a motion to suspend the rules and put it up for the third and final reading. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Okay, discussion. And we're gonna have roll call, and this roll call is on suspending the rules.
Castleberry,
Yes.
Askew,
Yes.
Woody,
Yes.
Winters,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Okay, now do we have a motion to approve?
Make the motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Askew,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Winters,
Yes.
Woody,
Yes.
Castleberry.
Yes.
Okay, resolution number 225, introduced by the mayor.
Resolution number 225, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Camden, Arkansas, authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with the Ouachita Partnership for Economic Development to provide certain economic development services for the City of Camden and for other purposes.
Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, discussion. We have with us tonight Mr. James Lee Silman and Mr. Jim Golden, the OPED board president. Do you have any questions, or would you like to hear from them?
I would,
Okay.
please. Mr. James, how you doing, sir?
Fine. How are you, Alderman Askew?
All right, I was looking through your pamphlet
Yeah.
here and seen some things you all are doing, and just about everything in here is, out in the industrial park. And mind you, I do work there and do appreciate everything that you're doing, to help bring business to East Camden, Calhoun County, and I know they're spending money here. But, still on the same soapbox, about restaurants and, businesses coming here inside the city. Is there any hope in the future? And I know we got a ton of food trucks now, but I'm talking about restaurants that we can actually, there are any prospects? I heard you mention the Huddle House, this and that, but we still have a lot of people traveling to Magnolia and El Dorado just to eat and stuff like that. Just asking.
You might be surprised, there are a lot of people that travel from El Dorado and Magnolia to Camden to eat. I hear that all the time.
To eat fish or
To eat everything.
no? What? Okay.
No, I'm serious. I see them and hear them all the time.
Joe, can I
Okay.
say something?
Yeah.
As a business owner in Camden, I'm gonna tell you, this place, the OPEC was one of the only people that reached out to me and offered me any assistance
Yeah.
in my business.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I needed financial help, whatever I needed, they did reach out to me.
Not downplayed. I'm just talking about. Is there any hope of any new restaurants or anything?
Well, we're working on prospects all the time, Alderman Askew. We provide technical assistance through our, small business incubator, Camden Accelerated Business Services. And we've assisted Camden Lanes was one of our clients there. I worked with the Restore It in the former Napa building. That building went vacant. Napa closed on California Avenue. And I had somebody.
Now Restore, what kind of business is that? What they
They are a company that will come in and work with contractors or homeowners to, if you've had a flood in your house or a fire or things like that, they will come in and work with you to restore your property. But we were directly involved in that, in getting that building quickly occupied. It didn't stay vacant probably 90 days before. We were just the facilitator between the building owner who was out of town, an out-of-town property owner, and this prospect. So I put them together, and they worked out a deal and consummated the deal, and that building is not an empty building any longer. But we're always working on other possibilities. Restaurants specifically, not necessarily, to that point, Alderman Askew, but we do have a lot of other, possibilities working, most of which I can't talk about because I'm under an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. And right now, you mentioned the growth in aerospace and defense. Right now, that's where the growth is for our area, and there's more coming. And this has been talked about and publicized somewhat. Later on this month, on the 20th, Airjet Rocketdyne is having a groundbreaking for a $215 million investment by the Pentagon in their facilities to upgrade their capabilities on, rocket motor production. $215 million. And more jobs behind that, more jobs coming. And, but I'm constantly working with prospects. We had a prospect that flew into Camden last week. Some people, some of the naysayers like to get on Facebook and run us down and what we're doing, and they don't want to believe, that we actually have prospects. But we had a prospect. The mayor was there. Jim Golden was there. We all met with this prospect. And it's got possibilities to bring more jobs to Camden.
On this side of the river.
Yeah.
And he said he is under an NDA. I'll just tell you that I personally know he's working on 3 different things for inside the city limits. We just can't talk about it.
That's good.
And we also are having a growth of one of our partners. OPED is a partnership, and OPED was formed in 2001, several different entities got together. I think most of you know this, and at the time we passed a tax to support OPED, and it lasted about 4 years. And the funds from that tax, there's some remaining funds on deposit with the city of Camden. It was a city tax, so the city, manages those funds, and we come back every year for a contract to draw on those funds to keep our activities going. But one of our partners is the Camden Area Industrial Development Corporation. CAIDC acquired through donation the former International Paper Company mill site after it closed. It was offered to the city of Camden, but Mayor Claybaker didn't want it. So they then turned to the CAIDC, and we have converted that and transformed the former paper mill to the South Arkansas Intermodal Park. And it is a regional intermodal park. We have products coming into that park by truck every day from as far as 50 miles away. We've got lumber coming in by truck and being shipped out by rail every day. And we have petroleum products coming in every day. We even have grain from North Dakota that is shipped in here by rail from North Dakota and offloaded in the intermodal park onto trucks, and then it's trucked over to Dumas, Arkansas. We have a tenant in one of the buildings, and they are expanding and adding employment. The railroad has added employees, so there's growth right there at the South Arkansas Intermodal Park. And we're fixing to expand, do some rail expansion. Probably the construction project will start in the next 30 days inside the park to accommodate one of the tenants, because their business is growing so well that they needed additional rail capacity. So we've secured the financing to do that, and we will be expanding rail for that tenant. So there's a lot of activity, Alderman Askew. You know, people want to talk about fast food, you know, hamburger joints, this, that, and the other, and I can't make somebody come and open a business. You know, that has to be a business decision on them, and they all study the local economy and decide whether or not they can make their business go here. Personally, I think we, you know, like the mayor said, we've got a lot of good things going, but we've got more coming, and I'm working on things every day. I sent in our RFI just last week. We're the point of contact with the State Economic Development Office. And the reason OPED was formed is, back in 2001, is we had too many people trying to do economic development. So we formed a partnership, Ouachita Partnership for Economic Development. That's the city of Camden, Ouachita County, Camden Regional Chamber of Commerce, and the Camden Area Industrial Development Corporation. But the state of Arkansas, the Arkansas Economic Development Commission, doesn't want to deal with 4 or 5 people in every town. They want one person, one point of contact, and that point of contact is Ouachita Partnership for Economic Development. They don't want to deal with the mayor. They don't want to deal with Jim Golden. They don't want to deal with, you know, 3 or 4 people. They want to deal with one person. And OPED is that entity that the state deals with. I sent in our RFI just last week on another project, and we get, leads and prospect leads all the time from the state office. Yep. And by the way, we were honored late last year, probably November. I was asked if we would have any interest in letting the State Economic Development Commission host one of their quarterly meetings in Camden, and I said, yeah, we'd be interested in doing that. We did that before in 2018. So I indicated an interest, and guess what? The State Economic Development Commission will be meeting in Camden, Arkansas for their quarterly meeting on November 5th and 6th. So we will be hosting them, and it's actually pretty nice honor to have them come down here and have their meeting. So
it's good. I'm glad couple of things. I'm glad you explained the South Arkansas Intermobile Park. I was looking at your handout here and trying to figure out what it was, and it's good to know what you're doing out there, and also it's good to know that you're working on this side of the river.
I'm always working on. It's just right now that you're getting more publicity out.
And hopefully we'll see some of that. And I know the work that you're doing in the industrial park, and especially like training students for, the ones that elect not to go to college. They can get trained and start work and go to work. That's a good thing. And, I know contracts is coming for us, defense and stuff like that, but I think, and I get a lot of people ask me, about economic development. What are they doing within the city, and that's the reason I ask and everything. And I guess people, ain't no guess to it. They like to see results.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we've always appreciated the city's support, and I can assure you we're constantly working it. And some of these things take time to pan out and develop. It doesn't just happen and doesn't just fall in your lap and overnight, and there it is. Yeah.
One more question. This 155,000. Do the county match that 155 as well?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I know it got up, and I got up. Can't really, but yeah, okay. So they still matching it.
James, do you have an estimated number of new jobs? When you say we have jobs coming, what are we talking about? 10s, 20s, hundreds? How many jobs?
Hundreds, yes. And multi-millions in investment.
And so that goes back to what I asked you, was talking about restaurants and things like that. A lot of businesses are the result of supply and demand. If you supply jobs, you got families moving in, you got more people coming, therefore restaurants are overcrowded. There's nothing to do in a small town, so then people go, hey, I see an opportunity to make money in Camden, let's open a business. to accommodate the new growth. So usually you've got to get those jobs before you can have the new restaurants and the new entertainment things and stuff that we all want to enjoy. And that's why back in the day we had a movie theater, we had a skating rink, we had a bowling alley that was rock and roll. We had 15,000 people at that time. Now we have 10. So I think I'm saying this is all a good thing. You make those jobs and you keep doing what you're doing. Get these jobs to come here, we get people, and people bring needs, and then businesses open to accommodate those people with those jobs. So
You're absolutely correct.
it's a slow process.
Retail and restaurants follow manufacturing jobs. They're gonna follow the jobs.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
Hopefully, they grow out there, we'll grow within the city. I'm looking for a place to buy some shoes and a suit here in Camden. And so, with that said, like you said, in the future, maybe that'll happen, you know, won't have to shop out of town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, no further discussion. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstained? Resolution 325, introduced by the mayor.
Resolution number 325, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Camden, Arkansas, authorizing the sale of real property and for other purposes.
Do we have a motion?
I make the motion to approve
Do we have a second?
so we can discuss it.
Okay, discussion.
What exactly is this? What's going on with this?
Jeanette, would you like to come explain this? She's going to tell you that.
On the end of Hildred and Spring, Charlotte Renix called, and I got a picture if you need a visual on it.
Yeah.
But it has a creek that runs in between it that we have to maintain each year when the grass is high. And she called and inquired about it and gave an offer for it to see if the property, you know, we would sell her the property because she owned lots on the same block.
Next to it, right?
Yes.
And what size is this lot?
It said, I called the assessor, it's 100 by 150, but it has that creek running straight through, so you really can't develop on it. So, if she gets the property, she's pretty much taking over the maintenance that we had to keep up, that we can't do anything with the property with anyway.
How did we acquire that property initially?
I don't know. It was been, latest, the record goes back to 1982.
I got an idea, but let me see them pictures.
Okay.
I got a constituent been complaining about that ditch over there.
I think I know. The constituent.
But
Sounds like a small lot.
Yeah, it's 100 by 150. That's, you know, that's pretty big. But if you can build on it, it would be great. And then the map, the old map we have in the back shows that like Hildred was put in the middle of it, and it's like on this side and that side. So it's really confusing on how,
yeah.
you know, on this particular lot. Unless we do a survey, we don't know exactly if it's this side and that side, or just this lot with the creek in between.
I don't think she know what
I know, because now you got to
She's
maintain
been
that,
wanting
you
it
know.
really bad.
she wants some smoke. What she want? 'Cause I'm telling you, that neighbor,
I feel bad.
yeah.
Yeah, but she called us. We didn't call her.
No, I feel
You
you on
know,
that.
so I guess she knew what it entails. So, or she might have an idea of what it entails.
This may sound silly, but are there mineral rights to that property?
I don't know. I didn't show
Big oil well.
some.
So she just come and asked about that and want to buy it, and just out of the blue.
Out of the blue. Last August.
How
She
much
did.
is she offering?
Well, she negotiated 300.
And
Since she can't build on it or, you know,
Yeah.
anything like that. unless you feel.
Well, I guess she just owning property, but my thing is, and this not for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is for city attorney, the quick claim deed. It's not matching up with it's saying $10. So if we let them have it for $10 or $300.
No.
Right, it has to be for some consideration. So $10 is what all these just show as being a consideration.
So, well, to me, these numbers gotta match up. I mean, is you giving it to them for $10 or $300?
No, but it goes back to when you went to exchange land, you would take a clump of dirt and hand it to the person, that was considered a consideration. For starting the deal, that's enough to say you have a contract, you don't ever start it, you don't ever perform on it, then it's void, you gotta have some consideration.
Oh, so this was the starting from the city.
Any deed is $10. That's right, this means just consideration being paid, even if it's $1 million loan. You got a separate contract to the amount, which in this case would be the resolution.
And so the city is gonna sell it for $300.
That's, if the resolution gets passed.
All right.
That's correct.
Is there any other discussion?
She wanna give it to her. That's trouble.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, resolution, thank you, Jeanette. Resolution 425, introduced by the mayor.
Resolution number 425, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an interlocal contract for cooperative purchasing, authorizing the mayor to purchase a new pumper truck for the city of Camden Fire Department and for other purposes.
Do we have a motion?
Have a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Is there any discussion?
I do. Can we bring the fire chief up?
Sure.
What you got?
Chief, how many calls for service, or what do you call a call?
911 call.
All calls are 911 calls?
No, a call for service. A call for service would be,
How many calls do you respond to in a year?
911 calls last year was 1,800, 1,900, somewhere around there.
Out of those calls, what percentage of those calls are in the city limits of Camden, and what percentage are outside the city limits of Camden?
I would say 95% inside the city. That's just a rough guess. I wouldn't know that off the top of my head.
For me, one of my biggest concerns is we're having a hard time. I can't even see the financials for tonight, and we're talking about $500,000 on a fire truck.
It's
and
coming.
I think there's 3 council members sitting up here that don't have a clue what we're talking about.
So the $500,000 is from a restricted fund that we put back into every year. It's should be last year at the end of the year when I got it, it was at $398. It gains about $8,000 a month, if I'm not mistaken, along with any kind of fire service contract we get for, these out of town contracts we have.
Do you know how many fire contracts we have?
I'd have to look at my sheet. There's
Roughly
like 30, 45, something like that, I believe.
And that is to respond to a call outside the city?
They get to use our ISO rating, which brings their insurance down, and we are their first call, if we have the resources available to answer that call. So if we are in the middle of a structure fire within the city of Camden, then we do not answer that call. As soon as the unit's available, we will send the contracted amount of people. But the contract states, and everybody is in clear understanding of it, that we can only send what we have at that moment, because the first priority is the city.
We just bought a brand new pumper truck.
Yes, sir.
When, a couple years ago?
2020 is when I believe Chief Nash purchased it. Maybe it was 21, but I think it's a 21 model. We received it in 22, and that's the engine one. So the rest of our fleet is 20 to 20 or 25 years old. The next one, newest, I guess you could say, will be 20 years old in 08. So it's 16, 18 years old right now. The biggest problem is right now we're shuffling between our 3 oldest trucks. So we got one that's completely deadlined. I put at least $10,000 into it last year. We put $10,000 into it the year before. We've bought that truck 3 times over the past 10 years that we've owned it. It was a Brindley mountain bike or a used truck that we purchased, and it's constantly had problems. So we put $8,000 into it. It was down a month later. So we deadlined it. I'm not interested in doing any more work to it. The past 3 months, we have been running out of L1 because engine 3's been down due to a radiator issue. Radiators on fire trucks are not easy to get, especially the custom cabs. They have custom radiators and all the custom parts. So we have to have a radiator specially made. We do have a company that's trying to rod it right now, but there's not an estimated time of, there is somewhat an estimated time of a week or so to see if they can actually fix it or if we have to have another custom radiator built. Engine 2 was down because it had blown a turbo and had a few other issues. We were able to get it running, put a new turbo on it, and fixed the boot and some other motor issues, and it is going. But there for a while, we were running the ladder truck as a front line truck, as a pumper truck from Station 3, along with the 2 newer trucks that we have. The next newest truck we have is a 10-year-old truck this year. So that would be our engine 4. So we're just trying to get in a replacement schedule that can be maintained right now, because if we keep shuffling these trucks around, we're going to spend $35,000 a year in maintenance on them, and I'm trying to cut that number down. We have the restricted fund. It is built up enough to purchase the truck without getting into the city's general fund at all.
I hear what you're saying, and not saying that I don't believe you, but, you know, like Bo mentioned, you know, we don't even have a finance report to
Yes,
look
sir.
at tonight. And I come from a profession where, yeah, you trust, but you verify.
No, I completely
You know,
agree.
And
I can tell you through September, in his fire truck fund, and we have several months since September, but the balance in that fund was $404,364.56.
Does that money come out of the 3/4 cents sales tax for,
The public safety
public
tax.
safety? Is that where that money's coming from?
I don't believe so.
this is AMP paper you
No.
showing me, right?
No, this down here is
Well,
just
I'm-
that. I know what that says
I'm
up
looking
at
at the
the,
title.
but it says Act 33 Fund, Administration of Justice, ARPA Fund.
AMP.
So it's a lot of different.
But that money is coming out of that 3/4 cent sales tax for the public safety sales.
I don't believe so. That was passed in 2017. I would have to go pull the notes that we have on it, which I haven't looked at in 2 or 3 years, but I don't think it is.
None of it?
I think a small amount, like a portion, I think it's half and half or something like that. It's something like that.
Well, now, that's not a portion, that's half.
Well, it might be less than half. I don't know.
$200,000.
I don't know. I'd have to
Okay.
go back and look. That was something that the council passed, and Jim Green and Chief Medford at the time, they had come up with it, and it was presented, and y'all agreed to it for a replacement plan, because at the time, we had nothing. You know, we're just going through, and as things broke, the city was being forced to shell out, you know, $500,000 and not have a serviceable truck. So this was a plan in order to have an amount of money constantly going into a savings account, so when these times came up that we could actually purchase without it really hurting the city.
I saw a mechanic today riding around in Camden in a 15-year-old vehicle. And I looked through the budget that was passed, and I saw where that mechanic was denied a truck this year. So we couldn't afford to pay for this guy to get out of this 15-year-old truck with 200,000 miles, but we can buy a $500,000 fire truck, and that just don't make any sense to me.
We talked about that last year as well.
And we can afford $86,000 for financial reports that we don't even have in front of us. To me, I just have so much question about the financial responsibilities of the city. This is, I don't know. How do you not buy that mechanic a truck last year? Since you said you know it.
We talked about it at the time. My vote was yes on, it was 2 or 3 trucks that we did not buy last year. My vote was yes, but, some people thought that everyone in the city of Camden had a brand new truck that they were riding around in, and so when it come time to vote, there were some people that voted no and overrode the ones of us that voted yes, and that's why he's riding around in the truck with 200
And I'm
miles.
gonna say, it's not even a truck, it's a blue SUV.
I understand.
He worked for the Camden Police Department. He is in the raggediest vehicle that Camden City owns.
I understand. But back to the fire truck. We have to have fire trucks. The money's there. The money was set aside for this. We have to have fire trucks. We have to look out for the safety of our people. We have to have fire trucks. We have to have police cars. That's a no-brainer. That's a must.
Let me ask you,
So in my opinion, we need to move forward with fire trucks.
instead of a fire truck, why didn't you ask for like something that would, to go to these people's houses in medical situations?
Well,
you
because
respond a lot to that.
we do, but this fire truck where it's gonna be going, one of our stations doesn't respond a lot to that. We have 2 stations that do, and they don't take the fire truck unless
But don't
they
you
have
have a
to.
lot of medical calls?
We do have a lot of
Why
medical
don't you get a really good vehicle to go help those people on those medical calls?
because I still gotta have a fire truck that's actually gonna run.
That's why I was asking about the percentages numbers, now how the calls come in. Is it house fires versus helping people? with
It's
medical?
gonna be probably 60-30 on fire versus medical. But on medical calls, we have 3 different pieces of vehicle, or 3 different vehicles that we can take. So we have a mini pumper that we take to stuff, which is our R1. And then we also have a SC1 that they take, and then they have DC1 that they take. So we don't take the pumper to everything, but if we have multiple units out, we have to have a pumper in service at all times. Mini pumper's nice because it can pump, but it doesn't have all the attributes that an actual pumper does. So you're at a limit, you have a limited capability at a structure fire. Can it get the job done? Yeah, but you gotta be very sparing with everything you do, so you don't get your people hurt, or somebody else hurt, or the house burned down, or whatever have you. So this right here is a move to get us in a better situation with our fleet. We're not running the wheels off our fleet with these fire trucks running 1,000 calls a year. But at the end of the day, you've gotta have it. I mean, I'm not telling y'all what to do. I'm just saying, you can't, these 20-year-old trucks, they are meant to run for about 20 years. They've pushed them out to 25, but when these were built, they were 20-year trucks. And that was the mindset when they built them. They will get you $300,000 for 20 years of its life. The way the city worked up until 2017 was, we'll replace it when that time comes. There was no plan, there was no idea of when they would be replaced. It was just thrown out that, hey, when the city's in need, we'll buy trucks. But before we replaced those trucks, we had 50-year-old trucks. And the problem is, it's just the fact of this world. These are throwaway items. With DEF and everything else on these vehicles, they don't last near as long as they used to. It's not a 1968 Mac. Some of them are still running around. So it is a need. Because if not, we're gonna be spending $35,000-$40,000 a year maintenance on these 3 apparatus, just rolling them around and playing a hat trick. I mean, it's just constantly one's down, one's up, one's down, one's up. And then sometimes we get in a situation that mini pumper's running out of a station that doesn't run medical at all. So it gets pulled off of it because that's all we've got left until something gets fixed. Send it to Conway, a simple oil change up there, by the time they fix a few issues, is $4,000 or $5,000.
Do our mechanics not working?
Our mechanics can, but they can't do everything, not to a fire apparatus. They don't have the computer system to even mess with the new ones.
When you say our mechanics, you talking about at the city shop?
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, that, I don't wanna go off in the left field. That's just funny to me. That, and I brought that up for years now. You know, we got a city shop to take care of city vehicles. They work on city stuff. that work on the fire trucks, but the police department got their own little mechanic. I don't get it. Why can't the city work on the police cars?
And
But anyway, and back to the, I'm almost done, Gerald, give me a second. But back to the fire truck. And Bo mentioned, and you went to talking about house fires, but he mentioned emergencies.
Yes, sir.
And I know, and I asked this question a while back.
Yes, sir.
Because our new truck, the big truck, it goes, somebody call and have an emergency, heart attack, whatever, and I pulled up, you know, in my neighborhood, in my ward, and I'm thinking, oh, we got a fire, but it's somebody having a medical issue.
Yes, sir.
And we got the biggest truck that we got, you know, there, and I was
understand.
told that because our emergency equipment is on that truck.
Yes, sir. Well, and I remember they gave you the most basic answer they could.
So you just told me something, I ain't saying you,
Yeah.
but told me something that you thought I wanted to hear.
No, I'm not telling you something you want to hear. I'm telling you the facts. If we have the personnel not to run the fire trucks, we have the personnel not to run the fire trucks. But at the end of the day, we've only got 9 guys on a shift. Realistically, you've got 8 guys because somebody is always off on vacation or some sort of class or something going on. So with 8 guys, you can still run a pickup truck or something else. But when you get to the minimum of 7, then you only have enough people to staff that fire apparatus and that pickup truck. So if you've got a station already out on a call, then this truck over here needs to go because we've got to have that equipment and that apparatus, something that can pump a decent fire and lay a line.
We're not talking about fires.
Okay.
The question was asked, why is our big truck at these emergency health issue need an ambulance
Yes, sir.
situations? And I was told that our emergency equipment is on the big truck because we have smaller trucks.
Yes, sir.
And I asked about, well, why don't we get a half-ton truck or whatever and put our emergency equipment on, what we won't have to take our pumper truck to these house emergency, not fires and everything. And Bo asked that, but you know, you jump to, and I agree, fire trucks, we need to rotate that, but I'm just telling you what was given me.
Yes, sir. And maybe I'm not doing maybe I'm doing a poor job of explaining it. Okay, so our main job is firefighting. And I know what you're saying. The EMS calls, we go and we take a pickup truck. So at times we have 2 EMS calls going at the same time. There's times we've got 4 going on and we're only at 2 because that's all we can respond to. So if we go to those 2, we've got a heart attack and a choking child over here. We've got a heart attack and just some person who's fallen. And both of those vehicles are taking pickup trucks. And now a third one comes in. And they have a pickup truck out here. We go out and buy half-ton pickup trucks. And now they leave. Once we're on scene, we are dedicated to that scene. There is no picking up and leaving that scene. If we do, we lose our EMT license. That is a big no-no with the state of Arkansas.
I get you. So our ambulance don't.
If you have one available. The other night they spent an hour on a call. Or I know one of them was an hour, but I know 20 minutes at times, 30 minutes, 45 minutes on calls because they don't have an ambulance in town. They've got one going to Bearden. They've got one that had a broke leg they picked up in Camden. Well, that broke leg, since El Dorado has ortho, TraumaCom dictates that they have to take that patient to El Dorado. So they've got 0 ambulances available in the city, so that leaves us to take care of that patient until an ambulance arrives. We can't transport pickup trucks. If we do, again, we lose our license. That is a big no-no. We're not a transporting agency. We could get an ambulance and have a redundant ambulance, and when that happens, we can charge for that pickup, but we don't have that. So when these ambulances are out, and here's the thing, if we didn't run medical calls, if you said no more medical calls today, we're still going to get called to those. And that's the reason we started running, because we got them more and more often, where we've got guys who are EMTs, but they only get to use it about 200 to 300 times a year on these medicals, And it's very unnerving working a heart attack or working somebody choking or working a seizure patient when you only see it 3 or 4 times a year for some guys. Some guys might see it
I was
more.
asking on a different truck. If you had a truck and an ambulance wasn't available, and you had a vehicle, not necessarily my half ton, but a vehicle that could respond to the scene, then couldn't you charge and collect money for that?
We need an ambulance.
I can't-
Why couldn't you charge for it?
I can't charge, so I can,
The ambulance charges.
the ambulance charges for the transport. If you treat on scene, so there are ways, and it's, Arkansas just passed a law, I think it was last year.
Can you transport?
I can't transport, not what I have. I have to have an
If you had a
ambulance.
vehicle that could
If I had
transport,
an ambulance, yes, I could transport.
why aren't we doing that and making money?
Because that's, our first job is firefighting. So that's what y'all want us here to do. I need the trucks. I can purchase an ambulance. I can let this fund, that was actually the part of this next 2-year plan. So I was gonna come pitch it to you, but I guess I'll pitch it to you tonight now. Is once this fund builds up to about $40,000 or $50,000 to ask, do y'all want to enter into that? Because I can get it, we don't need a brand new $250,000 or $250,000 ambulance. We need something for redundant calls that we can go to on when we have to. We can keep things running a long time. You're not talking about putting 1 million miles on this thing a year. Yes, sir.
Yes.
We're supposed to be talking about a fire truck that's on here, a fire truck that we need. Nothing in this resolution says anything about making health calls. It doesn't say anything about, boy, wish we had an ambulance, all this. It says that the fire department wishes to upgrade. We all know what happened. In 2022, we had $1.2 million worth of equipment that we had to replace because nobody had replaced equipment in the past few years, several years.
Thought you had one get blown
We had
up.
$1.2 million that we had to replace.
It just got the windshield.
Excuse me, I got the floor.
Sir.
But you was interrupting me.
I wouldn't talk to you.
Yeah, you was interrupting. We're here to talk about this. We're here to talk about buying a fire truck for the fire department. I think we need the fire truck for the fire department. Yes, we need to be able to take care of medical emergencies. That's why we have a hospital. A hospital has ambulances and all that. We have EMTs that go on the scene and do a marvelous job out of the fire department to do all that. That's not what is mentioned in this. This talks about a fire truck. Can we please get back to the discussion on the fire truck?
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
With all due respect, Alderman Castleberry, I mean, man, we're in discussion. And I know, we know what the resolutions say, but we're in discussion. And man, you can't tell nobody what to say or what to talk about. And I mean, it's all pertaining to the fire truck. I mean, so just hold your mule, man.
None of that's
Till
pertaining to the fire
it's
truck.
pertaining to the fire
No,
truck.
it's not.
And for the record, years ago, we talked about an ambulance and everything, but, you know, and with the veterans that left here, that was on this council, we agreed that the fire department is not an ambulance service. Talked about that. But, you know, man, we're in discussion, and everything is open. We know what the resolution say, and we're gonna vote on this, and we voting on the truck. But, man, you can't tell people what to say,
Well, if everything's open, anybody want to talk about the football game Sunday night?
you know?
You know, what y'all think of the halftime show?
Okay, are we,
It's a shame, there's 3 aldermen sitting here that are new that don't have a clue what we're talking about because we wasn't here last year, and we can't have a discussion on $500,000.
Yeah, we can
You're just
have,
wanting to say it's either this or not, and that's incredible.
I did some research on it, and the truck that they're looking to buy is $500,000 because it's not a custom truck, it's over $1 million if I'm not mistaken.
It's right at 800
And,
right now.
Yeah, and so, I mean, we have to have it, we've been budgeting and preparing for this, and if you say no to this, then we're losing money. Every year that goes by, our trucks are down, and that's life. That's our kids out there in a car wreck on the side of the road, and we don't have a truck that runs to go get them. I think it's all very important to do, it's not wasteful spending. one of the pros to what you were talking about a minute ago, sometimes when those big pumper trucks go out and respond to some of these calls that aren't fires, the worst thing for a pumper truck is for it to sit in the garage because it's loaded with water. You can't unload it. You don't fill it up when you respond to fire. They have to be full all the time because you never know when the fire is going to happen. Then they have to roll out loaded. Those things weigh tens of thousands of pounds. That suspension, the chassis, all that stuff is just sitting there under a load. The tires will go flat if they park too long. I don't mean flat as an air leak. I'm talking about the rubber and the steel belts will collapse. Then you have to buy all new tires. It's good to get them out, not just drive around town and go see what's happening, but it's good to crank those suckers up and move them and do stuff with them to keep them operating. The best thing for them is to make these little runs. So there are some pros and cons to it, but the bottom line is we've been budgeting before the new board members, myself, came along. The previous people made a plan for this day, and we need to follow through with that plan and to get this truck. And it is the least expensive but best way, I think, for we can be responsible with our tax dollars and keep our citizens safe at the same time.
And to be realistic, every year you go, every year we go in, move forward, they do get more expensive. Last year, a custom pumper was right at $700,000. I say that, this is 25, so going into 24, if you purchased one right there at the beginning of 24, you were going to pay about $700. This year, if you were going to get one, it's going to be about $850. And the same thing's going with these commercial cabs. They're getting more expensive every year, and that's not going to change. So every year you move forward, things are going to get more expensive. And like I stated at the last one, which y'all weren't here for, and you are correct about that, is this truck is something that you can re-chassis in the future. This is not going to be, this particular unit, you don't have to replace it with another $500,000 unit 20 years from now. You re-chassis, you get a new chassis for it because it's designed to take the box and pump off and put it right back on.
In contrast to the custom truck.
A custom can't do
like
that.
Like we said a minute ago, the radiator. You don't just go, I get one from the parts house. It's got to be custom built for those trucks. He's getting us a generic, like a prefab, if you will, but it's built tough. It just isn't fancy looking like you see in New York City riding around in the parade. But it's functional and it's muscle. The thing's tough, it's built to last, and easier and cheaper to maintain, and it'll do the job without looking, super flashy.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chief, appreciate you coming up and
Yes, sir.
bringing us up to speed, and some of us know this stuff is custom made. I mean, and I'm one of them, I know.
Yes,
It's got
sir.
to be ordered and stuff like that, and it's got to be checked out. But I mean, this thing is open for discussion.
Yes, sir.
And man, you stand 10 toes and you answer the tough questions, but the questions have to be asked. I mean, we just can't, bring a resolution up here and just say yes. And it wasn't dead on arrival, but you have to discuss it. You have to discuss the pros and the cons. And I agree. We do need fire trucks and everything.
Yes, sir.
But it wasn't dead on the arrival. It all comes down to the vote.
Well, and I'm always happy to answer questions, anything you got. I mean, that's what I'm here for. That's my job. So.
Let's vote.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. R5-25, introduced by the mayor.
Resolution number 525, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Camden, Arkansas, confirming the reappointment of Fred Lilly to the Camden Housing Authority.
Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second? Any discussion?
Is Fred currently the
Mr. Lilly was appointed last year to fill out the unexpired term of Judge Keaton. So now it's time that term expires, so he needs to be reappointed. I did go to the last Housing Authority Board meeting, and he said he would like to be reappointed to the board. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution Resolution 6-25, introduced by the mayor.
Resolution number 625, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Camden, Arkansas, authorizing the mayor to enter into contract with the Ouachita County Cooperative Extension Service to provide educational programs.
Do we have a motion?
Make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second motion.
Okay, discussion. Carrie is here tonight.
Okay, so there are new members on the board, so I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of background on what we are. So the Cooperative Extension Service is an educational resource to Ouachita County. We are a liaison between the University of Arkansas and Ouachita County. So our job is to provide research-based education to the community. We have several different avenues of doing that. So we have Karen Simpson back here. She's our family and consumer science agent. So she educates the community in the areas of child development through, I just lost the name of it, Best Care? Through Best Care, which is a training that they give to daycares. You just hosted a class of 40 some odd people to do some of the education that they have to continue doing to have a daycare and to have that license. She does Serve Safe, which is all the restaurants that we have. They have to have somebody with a Serve Safe manager's certificate that they've gone through a training, taken from what I understand, a pretty hard test, and to keep us safe in our community when we go to our different restaurants. That's something that's required by the state health department, and she helps teach those classes and puts those on. She also is going to work with any kind of human development and any kind of food and nutrition, health, safety, and anything in that area. I am your agriculture agent, so my job is to teach the community in the areas of agriculture. So I'm going to be the person out working with your cattle producers. I'm the person working with your local gardeners. I'm the person working with those people that want to have a pretty lawn in their yard. Anything from a lawn to a garden to cows, honestly, you name it. If it sounds funny, but if it grows and it's not human, I can tell you how to kill it. I can tell you how to keep it alive. If it is human, then you go to Karen. She's not going to tell you how to kill it, but she will tell you how to take care of it and to take. And then if you have an apple tree or a peach tree or pear tree, I'm the person you would call that I can talk to you about any kind of pests that you might have, bacteria that you might have, insects that you might have. When you take the apple off of the tree, I'm using a different fruit this year. But when you take the apple off of the tree, you can take it to Karen and she can tell you of its nutritional value. She can tell you some different ways to utilize that fruit. So we do that. And then we also step into our youth development. So our 4-H program is for ages 5 to 19. However, we also work with the ABC program here, which is 4 and 5-year-olds that we're working with there. We do hands-on education. So our education, when we go to hands-on, when I say that, if I go into the school, if I go into a housing program, if I do it with my 4-H club, with a different 4-H club or any different program that I might work with, I don't just walk in and lecture. I don't PowerPoint. I loathe PowerPoints. I teach how to do something by hands. A lot of times my programs are something that they don't understand the concept of what I'm trying to teach them until after they've learned it. And then we put it into a way that they can understand, this is what you just learned. And so we're teaching in that way. We teach everything from leadership to speaking, public speaking, to the agriculture side, to the family and consumer science side of everything that we have. So we're doing kind of everything. If you'll look at that contract, it is something that you guys have done over the course of
many years,
a long time, and in the past it has been $5,500. And from what I understand, it went down to $3,500 this year and in the budget. And so I'm here to, one, ask you to honor that contract, but also ask for that to be a $5,500. What that does is that provides funding for our extension office to stay here. And so a little bit more on our funding. So we are funded by Ouachita County, the state of Arkansas, and a little bit of federal funds, and then every city within Ouachita County. So Ouachita County gives us $28,000 a year. They're paying $36,000 to the city of Camden for the rent that we have. They're paying our internet, they're paying our phones. So they're taking care of all of that. Then we ask for 55 from you, and from other cities we ask for a certain amount proportionally to the population. So from Bearden, they're giving us 550. Chittister's giving us just under 200, I believe. Stevens, I believe, gives us 450. So every different location, depending on their population, is how we've asked for that money. So I'm here to ask for $5,500 for this year, and of course I'll come back in the future, but for this year right now, that's what I'm asking for. Are there any questions?
So I think looking at the budget, from what it's showing on the budget, it says detention service 3,500. So that's what the resolution is showing at. So the resolution shows 3,500. There's another 16,000 under, this is all under special projects, non-departmental, that is just under contingency. So if the council wants to increase it to 55, we just need a motion to amend the resolution to amend the 2025 budget and move 2,000 from contingency to extension service.
Let me ask you a question. Is that the only place that I mean, I'm with the 55 from the get-go, but is that the only place that we can pull it from, is from the contingency fund?
No, we don't.
So I'm saying the contingency fund is for emergency, right?
Well, but that's contingency, so what we have in the non-departmental is going to be things like, movies on the village, March Spring Spectacular, and then we've got special projects of 25,000, okay, special projects. Within that special projects is extension service, Main Street, and contingency.
Okay.
So it's not contingency like.
Overall, but it's in there, I got you.
There's $25,000 for special projects, and I think, there was just two that was left off, and we normally be up there at 55, and then you have 2,000 less in contingency. Because it has always been 55 in the past, so we can't just award the 5,500, we don't have it in the budget somewhere. But yeah, council says we're gonna do 2,000 from.
Special projects
Some
to,
of the other council people, they want the 2,000 comes. The easiest would be right here on this one page for special projects, because you've got a surplus there under contingency that was not dedicated to anything yet. So that would be for someone to come throughout the year and say they've got a project and they come back for the council.
That an old financial statement you got?
No, this is the 2025 budget.
Oh, okay.
This is the budget, when we're pulling the budget, you see it, like fire truck got out of the budget, so, we didn't have 5,500, was a problem, yeah. So we're trying to, we sure we got all 5,500.
Well, can I make a motion that we amend the resolution number 0625 and change it from $3,500 to $5,500?
I'd second that motion.
And include, and amend the, part of that would be amend the 2025 budget by moving $2,000.
From the contingency.
And that would be the 7,500, we're changing the resolution.
I have two simple questions while we're discussing. Why did we go down to 35 if we were at 55 before?
That was my mistake. I was on up to it.
It was just a mistake?
It was a mistake. When I was reviewing the 2024 budget of what we gave in 24 versus what we were going to give in 25,
Okay.
I miskeyed it from 55 to that was my mistake.
And then the second question, and this is going to sound horrible, but I promise I'm not coming from a negative place with this, but what benefit does the city taxpayer get by spending this money there? I know you just told me what all you do, but as a show of hands tonight, how many of you have ever used their services? Raise your hand. Okay. I'm just ignorant. I didn't even know y'all existed, so I just wanna make sure our taxpayers are getting their.
I'll give you my phone number.
I would love to, because I filled both my wife's cold drinks last year.
Well, we're actually doing a printing workshop at 10 o'clock on the 22nd in Chittister. And we'll be pruning some mayhaws, some peach trees, and some crepe myrtles. Just
Do you have a building anywhere, a facility?
Yes, we're at 625 Adams, which is the old OPED, the technology building on Adams Avenue. And so a lot of times for city people, a lot of my stuff is going to be those gardens. It's going to be those lawns. It's going to be small livestock.
Your service is free to the public?
Well, you're paying for it.
Well, I mean,
But yes, it's through taxes. We are funded through taxes, yes.
And they have a
There
lot of
are
kids
some
programs.
things, we have what?
A lot of kids programs.
Oh, yeah, that's our 4-H and all of that. And then we do our,
I can get behind that. I just didn't know that.
okay.
That's all I got.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second on amending. So are we voting on amending?
Just voting on amending
Just-
at 255 first. That'd be the motion.
Okay.
Councilman Williams' motion.
All in favor? Any opposed?
And then
Now we need a motion
Is at 5,500, and then the motion will be to approve.
to approve at 5,500.
Make a motion to approve this amendment.
I second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you guys very much.
Is there any other business? No, Mr. Winters has an announcement.
Okay, just a quick one. Daffodil Festival is coming back to Camden after I don't know how many years, Mayor?
Haven't had it since 2019 because of COVID.
March 8th, we will have the Daffodil Festival. And I've been asked to organize a Clean Up Camden event, which will happen the Saturday before. And I'm asking the city council to please reach out to your citizens. It'll go from 10 to 3. Check-in will be at Thrive Church right next to Jim Golden Ford. Bags, gloves, and vests will be available with water. And I'm just asking you to reach out and let's try to get our citizens to have clean up. And that's it. Make a motion to adjourn.
Wait a minute.
I have one more thing.
Excuse me.
I've been talking to a lot of
He's
people.
got to withdraw the motion, because I think he's going to, I would ask Alderman Winters to withdraw his motion.
Oh,
Because that
I'll
actually takes,
withdraw it.
that actually takes priority over everything.
Okay.
I've been talking to several people around Camden, and we've hit on it all around it all night tonight, about what we can do for Camden. Part of the issue is we get the jobs here, then we're gonna get restaurants and other services and things like that. And being able to keep people here. We've got stuff for young people to do. We've got some stuff for older generations to do, but there's a niche in there of people from college age to marriage that live here, work in Camden and out in the areas and other places like that. And you really just don't have a whole lot to do. Now, we're getting a bowling alley, and I know that, but everybody's not a bowler and all that. And we'd all love to have a movie theater. We'd all love to have all kinds of stuff like that. And I don't want y'all to think, when I say this, I don't want y'all to think that I'm strictly talking about drinking, because I'm not. I'd like for us to revisit a entertainment district in Camden. It doesn't, and when I say that, it's not about people being able to drink. I go to other places and I see that they have an entertainment district, and they got people playing music on the courthouse lawns, and they've got families walking around and eating at ice cream shops and holding hands and doing shopping and stuff like that. And it gives people something. If people's gonna drink, whether they drink at home or out in the woods or wherever. You're not gonna stop that. But, that's not what I'm referring to when I say an entertainment district. I'm saying if we opened up a place to where people could come and gather and be around other people like like the first Fridays. I'm not saying have a first Friday every week or every night or anything like that, but just open it up where people can come and gather, especially in good times of the year, stuff like that. That it might bring in a little specialty restaurant down here. It may bring in a new ice cream shop. They may go get one of Ed's good hot dogs. Something of that nature to kind of help the people here. The second thing that they all talked about was affordable housing. And I know that OPED is working on that, everybody's working on that, but there's just not a community in and around here that has a lot. There's older communities that'll have a house for sale, here and here and here. But, if we had another community that was reasonable, affordable homes and stuff like that, I believe we'd get a lot more people to stay here in Camden, and instead of being a 10,000 person town, we might grow back to a shadow of what we used to be at some point.
So you're talking about subdivisions, and we do have a housing committee through OPED, and we have been meeting. I mean, you've heard us talk about that, and we're going to continue some meetings with developers. We've talked about having a meeting and bringing in real estate people and continuing to look at avenues for affordable workforce housing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And then if we could just, have something that young people, for a place where young people can gather and things of that nature. I know that a lot of people gather at Allen's and a lot of people gather at Native Dog and hopefully other places around town. But, if we just had a place where, people could gather and have a good time and all of that, maybe they would be more inclined to become permanent residents.
And they're gathering at the pickleball. There's a lot of that age you're talking about out there playing.
I hate to keep dragging this out because I'm usually the one saying, let's adjourn and get out of here. Sorry. This may sound stupid, but I just don't know. How would you go about if the city wanted to buy something as simple as a new chair, like the chair you're sitting in, for example? Is that something that has to be brought up here, or do we have it in the budget just to get one? Because I was in the fire chief's office the other day, and he didn't say a word about it, but his chair is embarrassing. It's falling apart, the leathers, you can see the guts in his chair, and he's the type of guy, he ain't gonna fuss about it, he's just gonna sit there and work and do his job. But when somebody comes into our fine city and walks into the #1 fire station, I think it looks pretty crappy of us that we have a beautiful sign and I love. And they walk in, the main guy over the fire department is sitting in a chair that looks like it should be in a junkyard somewhere, Fred Saint. So I would like to see us get a chair for that office, and that's not a big expense.
This comes out of supplies.
So he has a line item in his budget.
Sorry, bro.
I just really wanted to try.
He has a line item.
And in next month's meeting, I'd like to talk, I don't want to have to go back to that, but I want to put on the agenda a discussion a little bit deeper to revisit the thing with the ambulance stuff. And I want us to hash that out for our city because something that you want to think about. I know we're not an ambulance service, and I don't want us to become that. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I do know this, that there's multiple times, and Covington spent plenty of time on the mic tonight. There's multiple times that the fire department will show up in a car accident, and somebody from our fire department is having to be an EMT to keep somebody alive, and the hospital does not have an ambulance available for 30 minutes or longer, and it can be the difference between life or death of us who pay taxes. That would never happen if we had a used $40,000 ambulance that's there. We call, 911 call comes in, We ask the hospital, do you have an ambulance? They say no, we grab our own and go to the backup that's there. To propose to pay for said ambulance, the pumper truck that we're about to get rid of will go to auction if I'm not mistaken. But what we could do, regardless, if we do something like this, is you call the dealership that will give you a price to buy your old pumper truck first. You call them and let them come inspect it and get a quote from them to buy it outright. Don't sell it to them, but ask them if they'll honor that quote until we go to auction. When we go to auction, now we have a reserve price. If the truck doesn't go for as much as we're guaranteed to sell it for to the dealership, then we don't sell it at auction. And if it exceeds that amount, then of course we've made the most money for our taxpayers on the investment. Take the proceeds, is what I would be proposing next month if we talk about this further. Take the proceeds from that truck sale and use it to purchase a nice used ambulance that we'll have at the station, just in case, and it happens a lot. If Covington wanted to come back up and tell us just how often this happened. I know for a fact last week, if I'm not mistaken, we had somebody on the side of the road after an accident, and our guys were sitting there working on them forever, and there was no ambulance coming for a long time. That wouldn't happen if we had a truck there of our own, and we have the personnel and they have the training to operate the ambulance and to use it. You know, we wouldn't be transporting them to Little Rock and El Dorado and stuff like that, so we're not trying to take the hospital's business. But if you'll do just a little bit of digging, the city of El Dorado made $1 million for their city last year running ambulances. It's a big money industry. There's very few things that our tax dollars will go to that actually profit the city. And I think I've pretty much solved how we pay for the used ambulance. We've got the staff to run it. We'll only be using it when the hospital's ambulance is not available. Then you won't have to see the giant pumper truck over here with so-and-so's having a heart attack. We'll just take ambulance with all those medical supplies in there. It'd potentially save a lot of lives, make the city money at the same time, and we've got the manpower to run it and everything. I think it would be something wise to think about next month, and we can discuss it further.
It's cool, Josh, but if you would, when you bring that next month, see how many ambulances we do have up there and at the hospital. And also,
I'll go ahead and tell you, the hospital's not gonna like it because, I mean, ultimately they care about saving lives, but it's big money. And every time that the thought of you guys are gonna be getting some of our money, I anticipate whoever's over to have a little pushback. But we have to make it clear, we're not trying to take your money, we're just trying to save lives. When y'all aren't available, we have a backup plan.
and again, that falls on the county as well. And you know, maybe Judge McAdoo might consider getting a couple of more or something, you know. But
especially on Friday nights, if you have during football season or basketball season, every one of our ambulances is stationed somewhere, and if you have 2 accidents at once, and there's 2 people that need immediate care and they need to transport, we can't transport them to the hospital legally, and that's rough, man. And you're talking about lives, and at the same time, I'm not saying we need to invest in something that's going to cost us money. Like everything else we buy, it costs us money. We just hope it's just like, man, we're spending this money just like the fire truck we're buying. It's going to depreciate and go down in value, and then we have to replace it. And the ambulance will pay for itself multiple times over and make the budget. We'll have money coming in from using our own ambulance while we're saving our own citizens' lives. But I think it's a win-win-win in every regard. The only pushback we should have will be from, I anticipate, from the hospital, dipping into their funds. But again, and what I will say, if the hospital sends somebody up here to fuss at me about, hey, no, don't do that, it's a bad idea, we got this. Well, I say, well, hey, if you were at every accident scene, we wouldn't be talking about this. We're talking about it because people are dying and they can't get transported. And you guys, you know, sometimes they're short-staffed at the hospital. They don't have the personnel. Sometimes they have plenty of staff. The ambulances are elsewhere. And, you know, that could be one of us or one of our kids or grandkids on the side of the road and need to be transported, and we have the ability to do it, and it will make us money at the same time. Why are we not doing it? That will be kind of the basis of next meeting. With that, I'm ready to adjourn if anybody wants to make a motion.
Well, cool. You get a chance to speak now, right? Mayor?
Yes, sir.
First of all, I'd just like to say I thank the brother for coming up and mentioning that pothole is in Ward 3. Last Wednesday night I met with my constituents in Ward 3, and we did address that problem. But that's going to be coming up in the future. We can having a solution to that problem. Not only that, I had a sheet out there that I wanted to meet people in Ward 3.
my sheet would have a complaint form. And the complaint form is that you fill out, you fill this out, you tell me what your problem is. I have paperwork that follows whatever you said and what I can address. On Wednesday night, I met with the people and I got several phone calls. And I think the chief for being there and able to answer the questions. But when I met with the people Thursday morning, I come into the office and I met with Tom and the mayor and Jeanette. The problems we had, the people had complained about, and also, I'm sorry, Public Works. They had started to resolve those problems that day. That day, it was just that quick, and it's just amazing how, I guess they felt it coming. Because Mr. Cooper was coming in there to get some answers. As a ward, in Ward 3, I expect answers. The people want answers, and they want solutions to whatever problem they got. We work together with the city and the mayor, and we're gonna do our job. And that is what our job is as an alderman. Is to hear those complaints and follow up on them and make sure that they're taken care of. That's who determines, that's how that's done. Coming to the mayor, you go to your alderman. You talk to your alderman about it. They need to record it, or they need to write it down, whatever, so that when they come up again, you come before the mayor, you say, well, I have this here, and the mayor can say, well, thank you for handling that. Thank you for taking care of that. That's what our role are as an alderman. They give us a book. They give us a book and a guideline book. For the people that don't know, we have laws that we have to abide by. We don't come here and talk about the cow that run across the road. We can't do that. You call animal control for that. If you have somebody walking in your backyard, you call the police department for that. Don't come to our alderman a lot of foolishness, because we don't entertain that. We entertain the business of the city, and that's what we're here to do. Thank you. With that, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned. You've got some special plan for Miss Peggy this weekend. You better take care of her on Valentine's
Been doing it for 36 years, 37, 38. Yeah, make a deal, set strawberries on it.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I got distracted or went to sleep or what.
Yes, sir.
No, I put it on the floor. And be wild.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
and you want a good outcome. But I would,
How does that come on Cleveland?
is that one of the ones that was did?
No, we're trying to get it torn down on Cleveland. You know, Travis and Juniel.
Right, that's what I said, that's what we did. Yeah, but they got a motion, was dismissed last week. So, yeah,
So it's here?
not quite. It's gotta be signed by the judge. I guess she paid, she took care of everything.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, she's gonna go back and so it'll be on him, and then you can jump on him. But, yeah, she'll be they're close to done. Now, there's a new one. I think it's on the house.
The one on
That's
Braxton.
like farmers, yeah.
On Braxton, her.
So the ice house? Yeah, I think there's a new one, but that's right, but the one that had all the properties listed, we got that resolved finally.
Okay. So
So
everybody
it's
else
gonna be
sold
done,
to us there.
it ought to be done, then everybody's gonna be okay, she's done, and that
When
judgment's
would I know
gone.
that though?
Be like within the next week or two.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as I get it,
I start on March 1st.
Been over years, then it will be addressed for the purpose that I want to use it for, not for sales. Which is the old news, which is the old order. Well, no, that area, the habitat is they use it for the fall. The building used to be Old Beverly Middle School, which is Old Boys. They say it's in disrepair. Yeah. Said these are moved because it was flooded. Mike said it made it work.